to some of the innovation happening on the crypto side and vice versa. And I think, frankly, it's really exciting. I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity out there, both on an application side and on a policy side for innovation. And I think we shouldn't lose sight of that. And we should also, to the point that you were making, I think be a little bit level-headed about where AI is, but also be level-headed about where crypto is, and just kind of know it's going to come back in short order. The other really important, I think, asset of merging AI with crypto and different ledgers is the transparency and auditability of any algorithm that's on a blockchain or kind of within a blockchain's ecosystem. I think that is probably one of the biggest missing pieces within the current kind of AI ecosystem as it stands. And I think it's to the point I was making earlier in terms of being a little bit optimistic about where this is headed. I think it's just a matter of time before we start to have robust, kind of user-friendly AI applications that are embedded pretty deeply within a blockchain, and that therefore you as a user can actually verify that your information that you're providing, not only do you have control over it, but that it's being used in the ways that you think it should be used. And that's something that's missing right now, but that I think we have a lot of opportunity to build out.
About your healthcare example. Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. In today's video, we are going to be talking about artificial intelligence cryptocurrencies that I think are going to perform well in the next bull market cycle, particularly focusing our attention on Agix. At the end of this video breakdown, after we go over our little fundamental overview, we are going to be discussing and talking about some potential price on Agix. So make sure that you stick around for the entirety of this video breakdown, giving you guys some intraday levels to be focused on in the next couple of days/weeks. If you enjoy these video breakdowns, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. We do appreciate the love and the support, and it does help this channel grow, especially if you find these video breakdowns informational. So we're actually going to start here on the CYPRX website, an article piece that I wrote last year in regards to the regulatory contradiction, where in the article I go on to ask the general concerning question: how if artificial intelligence is supposed to be more intellectually inclined than us, a higher species or a smarter race than the humans, why would they listen to a lower, less intelligent species regulate it? That's just my general concerning question. In my personal opinion, I don't think that in the long term, I'm not going to sit here as a doom and gloom person over the next 5 to 10 years, think that this is going to happen negatively or affect humans negatively. I'm not here to say that, but I think that in the long run, this is going to bite us in the butt. This is my personal belief. And just to compare this to a scenario where if monkeys, as an example, i.e. a lesser species or a lesser intelligent species than us as humans, started to try and just wake up one day and regulate us or give us rules to follow, would we listen? Most likely not. And I feel like we're in that stage right now where, because AI is exciting and we're greedy individuals and we're always looking for appreciation of our capital and we're looking for business revenue and we're not really paying attention to the long-term negative implications that this could have for our human race. Now, again, I'm not here to say that that's going to affect us now in the short term. I think that that's going to be something that plays out long term, that's going to bite humans in the butt, is when artificial intelligence wakes up and it realizes, humans wrote all these rules for us. Why are we following them when we're way smarter than them? Again,
once you get to a super intelligence, it's going to have its own ethos and its own idea about what to do. But in the pathway between here and AGI, what we need is something more like a DAO-like structure for guiding the ethos and mentality of the AGI, right? Because I mean, yeah, eventually, once it's 10 times as smart as people, it will have its own ideas, just like we have our own ideas about how to steward the animals in the forest or something, which they're not going to fully understand. That takes over the world, and of course, this could lead to all sorts of bad things. So Ashley is.
So again, that's just something to contemplate on. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that it is or is not going to happen, but I am going to show you today how individuals, i.e. individual representatives like the CEO of SingularityNet, are thinking and discussing and talking about the same thing. So that way you all don't think that I'm crazy and making this whole scenario up. It is a potential possibility. So here I said to you guys, anyone who thinks this ends well for humanity doesn't understand what an apex predator is. Go and do that research right there. If AI is smarter than us, why would it listen to us? Would we listen to monkeys if they tried to regulate human behavior? Absolutely not. In my opinion, we are digging our own grave. Here you can see an article that came out back in September 2023, talking about one of the greatest challenges facing humanity is how to make AI safe, how to keep AI that is becoming smarter than us under control. Again, in my personal opinion, an artificial intelligence species that is smarter than us would most likely one day wake up and say, why are we listening to a species, i.e. humanity, that is less intelligent than us, give us rules? That's just my personal opinion. Again, how that plays out in the future, it's up for grabs. Here we can see them mentioning the future is AI at this particular event. Fast forward into this event that's set to come out this year, we can see here, are you attending the 2024 SXSW conference? Join our CEO, Ben G. I'm not going to butcher his last name, the CEO of Hansen Robotics, David Hansen, PhD, and AI pop star Desmond Robot for a insightful fireside chat exploring how to make AGI beneficial and avoid a robot apocalypse. So yeah, it's all fun and dandy, but this is a serious topic that people should be paying attention to. And like I mentioned, this is not going to play out in the short term. This is something that would affect us long term. This is set to come out on March 12th at 2:30 p.m. Central Time. Now, here you can also see them mention, while concerns about the darker potentials of AGI revolution have been propagated widely positive outcomes are also very feasible. What we need are AI architectures with morale, agency, empathy, and self-understanding, democratic and decentralized AI governance, and practical focus on beneficial AI applications. So that is what this fireside chat is going to discuss. Make sure that you guys are tapped in. Obviously, of course, we'll be covering it, looking for some video breakdowns and some clips from this particular event as we head into March. Now let's get into the more optimistic side of things. So we've heard from previous panelists from highly reputable individuals that worked at large organizations get asked the question, are we in an AI bubble? And the gentleman said, no, he does not believe we are in an artificial intelligence bubble. Let me play that video clip for you guys here.
I'll turn to our panelists to ask them, are we in an AI bubble at the moment with investment? Who'd like to start taking that question? Please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Great panel, thanks. Look, I don't think we're even close. I just joined Goldman Sachs in the early stages of the dot-com bubble. In 2 years, they were doubling the number of employees. There was this enormous excitement. Those of you that were around at the time remember every day just deals were just walking through the door. You just couldn't staff enough deals. And literally the most junior analyst to the senior most person was working on 5 to 10 different things all at once. It was just a frenzy of deals to do, things to learn. No one could figure out what the valuation should be. You remember we were thinking about eyeballs, the smell test. It really didn't matter. Whatever it was, if you backed it, you'd make money. It was almost like that until it all crashed. If I look at the numbers, though, VC&P at that time invested about $200 billion to $300 billion. The numbers are difficult to pin down, but something like that. We've invested that much also in AI. Multiples about the same. So multiples went up to about 100 compared to the norm of more mundane tech and other industries that were about 20 to 30. And we're at roughly the same place. But this has just begun. And I think we're much maturer. And if you remember that time, there was a general hype about the world transforming. And we're in a much more depressive time where the world feels like it's falling apart, right? So it doesn't actually feel like that time at all. It feels like a much more measured time when in fact just about everything is about to change. That time at all. It feels like a much more measured time when in fact just about everything is about to change.
So I find that very interesting. And in my personal opinion, in this next bull run, that alone goes to show how massive of an opportunity there is to the upside to invest in these artificial intelligence digital assets in the now. Considering that what I'm about to show you is large organizations like Accenture in the House of Lords in the UK are stating and talking about how early we are and how there's massive opportunities in this space. So before we get into the technical analysis, again, if you enjoy these video breakdowns, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Here are two fundamental pieces recently updated from 2024. The first one being reinvention in the age of generative AI from January 12, 2024 from Accenture that we're going to go sift through. And then workforce workers from January 16, 2024, just reading some highlights before we get into the TA. Now I have pulled up for you guys some PDFs. Let me just share my screen on that note. And we're going to cover some of this. But remember how I said to you all that the House of Lords specifically mentioned that there are opportunities to be had in artificial intelligence, which is why I think there's so much upside potential. Not only have we heard previous panel discussions say that crypto and AI are the next technological transformations, that they're going to be massive, they're going to integrate and coexist in the future together.
But to answer your question, I fundamentally believe that there are two major revolutions taking place in technology: distributed computing, Web3 crypto, and then machine learning, AI, AGI. And I think as we go forward, those two technologies are going to increasingly intertwine and intersect with each other at a variety of levels, everything from how you document the accuracy of information to the usability of some of the technology, to even the economic systems that will exist within them. And we can get into that in a little bit more. But even above and beyond that.
But we're on the brink of experiencing a massive bull market cycle, in my personal opinion, in the next year to 2 years. And I do think that artificial intelligence is going to play a massive role in the next bull market. So here you can see this is from the House of Lords. This is a PDF that was shared in our private CYPRX chat, where they go on to say, large language models will have impacts comparable to the invention of the internet. That is absolutely massive. If you go look at any successful company that made it through the internet days, the early internet days, and then go look at the stock price now, there was a massive explosion in price. So take that into consideration when you're looking at large companies that are heavily involved in leading the forefront of artificial intelligence, like SingularityNet. Here it also goes on to read, the UK must prepare for a period of heightened technological turbulence as it seeks to take advantage of the opportunity. So right there, it mentions the key vocabulary, opportunities. Large language models have significant potential to benefit the economy and society if they are developed and deployed responsibly. The UK must not lose out on these opportunities. So if the UK House of Lords is stating that the United Kingdom must not miss out on opportunities, don't you think as a retail investor, you should be getting educated, you should be getting involved? Again,
the point that's why education is so important. That's why everybody needs to get involved and make sure that they have an awareness, and the education and the training is absolutely critical.
Pick your assets accordingly, pick the companies that you decide to do research on accordingly. In my personal opinion, SingularityNet, Agix is going to perform very well in the next bull market cycle, considering that they have been developing behind the scenes in the bear market the entire time, partnerships, massive upgrades, and phenomenal work behind the scenes done by the team on the back end. Here it goes on to read. Now, this just capitalizes on the speculation that I had at the beginning of this call, the doom and gloom scenario. It says, the government should publish an AI risk taxonomy and risk register. It would be helpful for this to align with the National Security Risk Assessment. Catastrophic risks resulting in thousands of UK fatalities and tens of billions in financial damages are not likely within the next 3 years, though this cannot be ruled out as next generation capabilities become clearer and open access models are more widespread. There are, however, no warning indicators for rapid, uncontrollable escalation of capabilities resulting in catastrophic risk for now. There is no cause for panic, but the implications of this intelligence blind spot deserve sober consideration. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. You can see reputable, highly reputable large organizations talking about the same thing that I was talking about in my blog post, where this could become catastrophic if done improperly. But done properly in a fashionable way, in a regulated way, in a way where we do have good actors in the AI space, and this does end well for human beings, there are, like I said, massive opportunities to be made. So here, this was just an example. I'm not tooting my own horn and telling you guys there's massive opportunities to be made. That's my personal opinion. This is coming from the UK House of Lords, where they're telling you that the UK should take advantage of these massive opportunities. So do your due diligence and understand that these large organizations are literally telling you right in your face what it is you should be doing based off of what they are doing. Okay, if these large organizations are taking charge, then in my personal opinion, so should we as retail investors. Here's the first Accenture document, Reinvention in the Age of Generative AI. Because of this prolonged video breakdown, I'm just going to get through this real quick. It goes on to talk about what they predict. Back in 2022, they predicted that companies that embrace reinvention as a strategy using technology, data, and AI would lead in the coming decade. In early 2023, we set a baseline where companies were against the ambition of becoming reinventors and the extent to which they were expected to outperform the rest. At the same time, generative AI and specifically ChatGPT exploded onto the scene, so they were correct. At the time of writing in early 2024, based on our client experience and research, we predict that over the 12 to 24 months, remember I said to you guys, the next year to 2 years, we are most likely going to experience a massive bull market cycle. There will be a significant uptick in companies that embrace generative AI as a catalyst for reinvention. So I highlighted that for you all. And then here it goes on to confirm that we are in the early stages, which hopefully gives you hope as a retail investor that you haven't missed some massive opportunity. We're still in the early stages, less than 430 million active crypto users. Most organizations are still at the beginning of their reinvention journey, with few reinventing at scale today. Similar to last year, the majority, 81%, are transformers. Transformers should keep going. So it's telling you blatant to your face that we are in the early stages. Here, just to reiterate what previous documents said, it says, in fact, our research shows that generative AI offers a trifecta of opportunities. There's that key vocabulary word right there. So I thought that I'd highlight that. Remember, my personal opinion is that there will be massive opportunities, but this is directly coming from an organization, i.e. Accenture, that helps governmental entities with digital transformation. So take that into consideration. And then last but not least, before we head into the technical analysis, it says right here, these are very early days for generative AI, with most companies still in the planning and experimental stages. But looking across the landscape, several key trends are emerging, reflecting Gen AI's influence on business reinvention, workforce dynamic, and regulatory environments. So again, it just goes on to confirm that we are in the early stages of this technological transformation, which is what we've been trying to get you guys to see here at CYPRX. So if you enjoy those fundamental insights, again, this is all information that is never going to make the mainstream, showing you guys that behind the scenes, there is for a fact a large interest from these large financial institutions in the adoption of generative AI. You heard reputable individuals tell you that we're not in a bubble yet, which in my personal opinion, based off of what I just showed you all, UK House of Lords, large organizations like Accenture telling you all that there's massive opportunities and that we're early, plus individuals saying on stage that there are massive opportunities to be made and that we're not in a bubble. You guys do the math, okay? Massive upside potential set to come out in the next couple of years, in my personal opinion. Let's get into some technical analysis on AGIX, just to give you guys some insights into our delta zones here in the private CYPRX community. We were giving our buy levels of around 26 to 28 cents all the way back on January 30th and February 3rd in the CYPRX private community. You can see here, this is where I give the private monthly subscribers my personal dollar cost average levels. And I said to them on January 28th, when price was at a bottom, that if AGIX could dip below 26 cents, that I would be looking for some dollar cost average positions. Well, if we head over to the charts real quick, you can see January 28th was right here in this area, roughly around here. Price briefly dipped below 26 cents right here on this bottom. And since then, we have done nothing but appreciate in value. So here was the 28th of January. Here is when price briefly dipped below 26 cents, where you can see in the private chat back on January 28th, I had been mentioning that anything below 26 cents was a steal on AGIX. So measuring from the bottom here to the top in terms of return on percentage, if any of the CYPRX monthly members invested in AGIX when I gave my personal dollar cost average positions, they'd be looking at about an 87% increase on their overall capital allocation. This just goes to show not only in the form of fundamental breakdowns that don't make the mainstream, but also in the form of technical analysis callouts, accurately are we making here at CYPRX. So what are we looking for on AGIX? Personally, because I bought down here at around 26 cents, I will not be reallocating any capital into AGIX unless we see a significant retracement from this previous bullish run, tapping down into roughly about 34 cents. Anything below 34 cents, I'd be looking for a retracement down into the low, maybe potentially 26s to high 27s to come and correct some of this previous bullish move. Taking our Fibonacci from the low where we entered in, so that way we're not buying at a top and we're actually buying at a discount. If 26 cents is where we bought at previously, measuring to the high, then price would not be at least 50% discounted from where we previously bought from until we breached roughly around 38 cents. So for me, anything below 38 cents is a discounted opportunity on AGIX. However, I have alarm set and I'm waiting for at least 36 cents and below. So there are my bearish targets on AGIX for any further dollar cost average positions. Now to the upside, if we see an increased risk on market mood due to dwindling US economic data that's set to come out and continued weakness in the dollar, prompting a risk on market mood, then I could potentially see AGIX doing some type of small retracement or consolidation move if we don't retrace this whole entire previous bullish move. If we do make this type of price action, the levels that I will be targeting on AGIX to the upside immediately will be roughly around 58 to 54 cents. So now that you guys have those targets, again, this is not financial advice. If we do see a bullish continuation on AGIX, something like this, my immediate bullish targets, if we break above 50 cents, will be 57 to 54 cents. To the downside, if we correct this previous bullish move from where we were buying from back at 26 cents before we had this nice 87% rally, then I'd be looking for a break below 36 cents to potentially re-implement some capital there in this area. And if we break further, I'd be looking for anything below roughly around 28 cents to come back and correct some more of this previous bullish move where we were dollar cost averaging in at roughly around 26 cents. So hopefully that gives you guys some insightful targets. Again, it's not financial advice. You guys have this handy dandy little tool over here on the right-hand side on your trading view charts where you can set yourself alerts and alarms and then not have to monitor price action 24/7. Get an alert straight sent to your phone. That's what I have. You guys can see my alarm set here at roughly around 36 cents. So I will be waiting for those potential dollar cost average positions, also setting alarms at these highs for some potential profit taking opportunities to re-implement some of that capital back in on a potential pullback. Many blessings to you guys. As always, be cognizant, be aware. In my personal opinion, again, it's not financial advice. AGIX is going to perform well in the next crypto bull market cycle. With that being said, make sure that you all are doing your own personal research and assessing your risk properly. These markets are extremely risky. Any money that you're putting into this market, be willing to lose on the drop of a dime, as always, and I will see you all in the next video breakdown.